But let's move on. Let's talk about what's happening within the IT pack. What are the hiring and the associated trends? What are the utilization levels? What are the attrition levels? We'll talk about all aspects. We have with us Shantanu Jha from Cognizant India, as well as Padmaja joining in from PwC India to talk about where things stand when it comes to people within IT. But Padmaja, if I could start off with you, morning firstly, walk us through what kind of roles you're trying to fill in currently. What kind of talent are you seeking for the IT companies, and where is the demand really coming in from within IT? Because it's not just IT alone now, it's the startups, it's the new age IT companies. They're the ones which are absorbing all the great talent, as we understand.
Yeah. Hey, morning, and pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me here today. Uh, in terms of talent, when we look at it from PwC's perspective, we are looking at different levels and different skill sets, right? I mean, if I just start with skill sets, as you said, there's so much of market demand, globally, just around the whole area of digital transformation. There's just so much of heightened demand for it, which means all skill sets that's required to deliver that to our clients, not just in the core technology side, but even in many of the functional areas, right? Whether it's supply chain, whether it's customer consulting, but in all of those areas, we really need to look at building skills. I think the other part is just a lot of focus on campus or base of the pyramid hiring, because as strategy, we're also looking at how do we really build. So there's the whole piece of buying, which is lateral hiring. There's the whole piece of building, which is campus entry level hiring. And there again, while we look at engineers, we look at accountants, we look at niche skill sets like design thinking, we look at skill sets around environment and sustainability, ESG. So it's many of these areas that are really driving demand for us today.
Right. Shantanu, hi, morning. How difficult is it getting to retain talent at your end?
Morning. Thank you for having me here. I wouldn't say difficult. We all know that the market is extremely hot. Everyone is hiring across the board. So the whole point is how we are making sure that we are getting the best into the company, and we are putting lots of effort and initiatives around to ensure that our associates they find a meaningful career within the company. So we put in lots of initiatives over the last several months, and we are seeing that these are helping us, and we're getting real positive feedback from our associates too.
Shantanu, we've seen a similar boom time, let's say between 2003 and 2007 or 2003 and 2008. There was a massive wage inflation which led to a complete reimagination of IT workforce and also serious wage pressure. Are we likely to repeat that cycle?
In a way, I would not say there is a significant wage pressure because there is a lot of demand. We also want to make sure that we are paying comparable to the market. We don't intend to go crazy, but we are watching this space very closely. See, we are in a very strong demand situation, right? So we are hiring, as you know, we are hiring about 100,000 laterals. We are hiring about 30,000 university this year. 45,000 offers we're going to make. So I would not say it is singular like wage. There are many things which the associates are looking for: career growth. Are they able to upskill themselves? Are they able to migrate between technology or functional areas? Also, are they able to get deeper expertise or not? So I would not really pivot on only wage. Today's associates are looking much more than just the wage, I would say.
Padmaja, what are the chances that this wage hike or talent availability may actually trigger an outsourcing out of India, which is that Indian IT sector took a birth because US rates or wages were high. If Indian wages and wage hike are going to go higher and lack of manpower may be there, what are the chances that business may start migrating to Eastern European countries, some other countries? Because there is some evidence which we've already picked up.
Yeah. So that's an interesting point. I think it's not the first time this debate has come up, isn't it? I mean, I remember this debate for more than a decade, maybe a decade and a half. Couple of things I would say. I think most global organizations would have capacity across different countries, right? Eastern Europe, as you said, South America, India for sure. But I think if you want to scale to capacity, it's very, very difficult to not have India as the center of that plan, right? You just look at the amount of just the talent that's available. There is sometimes a view that, look, the numbers don't always tell the story, but even then you have the ability to have those numbers. You have the ability to spend a lot of time in terms of training, upskilling. So I think India will continue to be a very, very key part of that whole story. But it's definitely, any global organization would have capacity across some of the other areas that you spoke about as well. But India will be a very big part of the story, and I think this year has only shown that more. There are reports that between January and June of 2021, I think the IT sector hiring has actually gone up by 55%, right? So I think there's just, when you look at the total demand and our capacity to deliver, I think it's very important to be here.
55% higher hiring is a figure that's out as far as the IT sector goes. Shantanu, good morning. My question is, a company like yours and others in the IT sector have to now also compete with startups, very well capitalized startups. You've had almost $20 billion year to date come into the Indian startup ecosystem. And these startups are agile. They're offering things like BMW superbikes, IPL tickets, pet insurance. What does that mean for the IT sector? How much have you had to up your game just to retain talent, particularly the freshers who may not, be as cognizant of brand and long-term strategies?
So, I want to answer it a bit differently, because it's not about that we're competing with the startup. We have an ecosystem, and almost all the companies, we have to create an ecosystem where individuals, when they come in, we provide them the right platform, right opportunities to, excel in their career. We provide them opportunities to learn and cross-skill and upskill. So as far as brand is concerned, we stand very strong. As far as our customers are concerned, we stand very strong. The quality of work which our associates are doing today, their best and cutting edge technology they are using. So I would say that yes, we have a very strong value proposition for our associates. And as long as you have a strong value proposition, and if you walk the talk, I don't see that we will be, we will have significant challenges in making sure that we're meeting our requirements.
Padmaja, would you agree with this analysis? Because, at the end of the day, that's how many engineers you have. An engineer is king. That's how many freshers you have. And everybody is fighting for them, whether it is the IT sector, whether it is consultancies, or whether it's, the startups.
Yeah. No, so that's a great point. If I look at it at a macro level, good for economy, good for talent. And, we keep seeing these waves, right? You spoke about it as well, that you always see these waves where suddenly there's a huge uplift and there's there's a lot of demand, the talent market gets hot. So I think at a macro level, it's overall good, right? If I get into it at an organizational level, definitely every organization has its own value proposition. Shantanu spoke about it. What do we stand for, right? What does an organization stand for? Is it about the compensation? Is it about, other things, learning? Is it about culture? And all of those have a role to play. But I also believe it's times like this that force all organizations to really start thinking different. So you made the point, there's a finite set of, let's say, engineers, just to take an example, right? That's really where you start thinking different and say that what kind of alternate skills can help me, right? Do I really need to be going to these places? Do I need to do campus? Can I do something which is very different in terms of sourcing those skills? How much do I invest in training from my side? Even frankly, challenging notions like of, let's say, having full-time workforce. How do we so much more leverage gig economy? Because there's a lot of messaging that we're getting from so many employees that, look, working full time, working in a certain way may not necessarily be something that they want to look at for a long period of time. So I think that's where all of us have to start thinking differently, and that's where creative ways to address this talent situation start becoming important. But at a macro level, I think it's a good thing.
Okay, but till then, the trend very much stays. We've got the tech sector, the startups, the gig economy looking for talent, and we are in the midst of a wage inflation, everyone trying to add to the other to retain talent. And a pertinent point raised by Cognizant over there, they have their standards, and employees are, of course, conscious of brands as well. Thank you so much for joining us today live on The Market.